situation, but slowly, if you can, move backwards. More likely than not, it hasn't picked up that you're there, okay? If you're in a group, bunch up as a group, move backwards, okay? You might be moving backwards into the bush, or it might not be the clearest path, but just get out of the way of that animal, okay? Then stop, calm, reassess, and then you move out that way, okay? Always move in the opposite direction to which that animal was walking in, okay? This sounds very obvious, but warn other people. If you have just seen an animal in the area and you come in talking to another person or approaching someone, or tell them, okay? So then they don't go and make the same mistake you've just made. Time and time again, I've seen people passing maybe elephants on the roadside or even buffalo on the roadside. I do lots of running. I will then tell people, I'll say, buffalo, and I'll say where, okay? Take the time to let other people know. Please, we've got to work as a community when we're living in this community, okay? For coexistence. It's really important, sounds very obvious, do not throw rocks at animals. It just aggravates them, okay? There is a small chance that you might scare them and they'll run away. But there's also the chance that you'll aggravate them and it'll make them attack you, okay? So let's just go on the side of caution. Just do not throw anything at an animal. We don't want to aggravate them. We want to keep the situation calm. Let's revoke from throwing things. Okay? And as I said, those key wildlife areas that we said, just as Kelly also reiterated, please just do not walk around them. Don't be active in them at night time. Just don't be there. Okay? They are the areas, that's when the wildlife, we've got more wildlife than ever is at night time, okay? So just do not be in those areas. Get a taxi, get a lift with a friend. Don't plan to be in those wildlife areas at night time, okay? Just very quickly, driving. As we were saying, most animals are relatively unpredictable, especially when they're on the roads. They're nervous. They don't want to get hit by cars as much as you don't want to hit an animal by a car. It's the same principle, okay? So when they're nervous, then it's harder and harder to predict their behavior, okay? So what is really important when you do see any kind of animals on the roadside to instantly slow down. Don't speed up. Slow down. Look around. Look around both sides of the road. It's highly likely if you've got animals on one side of the road, you might have animals on the other side of the road. So just instantly, your instant reaction, slow down. Put on your hazard blinkers. Let, again, other people know that there's wildlife around. It alerts them to slow down, alerts them to look either side of the road. Again, working as a community, okay? Don't then overtake the person with blinkers, okay? There's no point in rushing. That increases our chances of having an accident, threatens our lives, threatens our passengers' lives, okay? Slow down, be cautious.
I'm going to say that is the #1 accident reason we have car accidents in this town. Not even necessarily having to do with wildlife. It's the people overtaking somebody else in the middle of the road and speeding up and getting a head-on collision. I'm saying that very strongly because it happens. I can't tell you how many times every year. It's a head-on collision, people die just because of that point. So I think this is a really strong thing, and if you guys don't drive yourself, you're in a taxi and they're driving like that, they have their life in their hands. You tell them to slow down, especially in those wildlife corridors, because the wildlife corridors are unpredictable. You can't just say when you see one in the road, you have to pay attention to the sides of the road. Impala jet out in front of the cars, warthogs jet out in front of the cars. If you're driving at night, curfew's been lifted up to 10 now, so you're driving at night. Elephants and buffalo are crossing those roads and you don't see them. We don't have enough street lights. So, that's all I have to say.
So when you do have a herd crossing, okay, the best strategy is to let them cross as a group, okay? They're not uniform animals. They're not going to all bunch together. It's rare that you'll have them all bunch together and cross in one go. Often it is 2 or 3. I'm talking about impala, I'm talking about buffalo, I'm talking about elephants as well. Just take the time, give them space, have your hazard lights on, and allow them to cross, okay? When you think they're all gone, check, look for them, then proceed, okay? These sound like really simple things, but these are the things that are the most important, okay? So when time and time again, we have people that just go and push through those herds. And then maybe that driver's gone through, okay. But then what about the drivers behind? So now you've got aggravated animals, okay?
Which on the next slide?
Okay. So these are photos taken here in Kasane and Kasane, okay? You come across this all the time. So again, it's this idea, don't overtake a vehicle that's on the side of the road like that. Don't rush past. Give everybody space, okay? Don't push the animals and rush the animals. So we've got a great image here of this Bucky thinking it's genius to go and push the elephants off the road. That's going to aggravate them, that's going to upset them, that's going to make them defensive. Okay? Just give them space. Don't toot at them. There's a lot of taxi drivers here that toot. You have every right to tell your taxi driver to stop tooting his horn. Okay? Tooting is only going to, again, aggravate and make that animal defensive. Right? They just want to get across the road, access the water or the resources. They want to look after their babies, make sure they're all okay. They want to look after their friends in their herd. Okay? Don't toot at the animals. It makes them more and more angry.
I just want to say, I put these slides in here specifically. So the first one in the corner, right at the top, you can see the elephant behavior. Remember we talked about the zones? Now if you were to judge what those elephants in the top corner there with that van sitting next to them, Zone 1, the elephants were doing nothing. And what did it do? This guy decides to pull up in front of the elephants and to take a photo right in front of them. Broke the barrier, now it's Zone 2. You can see one of the elephants turned around. Zone 2. Okay? Zone 3 and 4, you've got Zone 3 down here, the photo below that. Again, taxi man getting too close. Pulls in the middle of the road. Look what he did, he turns. Zone 3. Ears out. If that taxi driver stays there, you can be in Zone 4 in 1 second. That's why I put these here. These guys are all breaking the zones of that elephant. No reason if they're eating on the side of the road that you need to pull up. You want to take a photo? Pull up a little further away, or on the other side of the road, where you keep your distance and let them feed and take as many photos as you want. And then the last one I pointed out is this girl, I'm sorry, puts herself out of the car, makes attention to herself while she's too close to the elephant in the first place. What do you think the elephant could do right there? And I've seen people actually get out of the car to take selfies, like literally standing on the ground, that close to an elephant bull. You just put yourself in Zone 3, which quickly turns to Zone 4. All right? So that's why they're up here. Perfect examples, and we see them almost daily.
Okay, so just very quickly, in your home, this is obviously also very common. If you have an elephant outside your home, try and stay calm. I know it's the initial thing. Usually you'll hear it, you'll be trumpeting, you'll be breaking branches. You'll get used to that sound living here. It's highly likely because elephants obviously do pass through around where people are staying. Stay calm. The first initial thing is they're probably just passing through. It's highly unlikely that they're coming to stay in your back garden or wherever you might be living, okay? However, it's very important to determine exactly where they are. If they're coming in and eating fruit, you've got that's another thing. Please just clean up the fruits off the ground. If you've got fruiting trees, don't just leave them there to ripen and sit on the ground. You're begging for animals to come and eat them. Clean up your fruit. If you've got the responsibility of having a fruit tree, you must maintain that fruit tree. You can't complain if animals come and eat it if you don't go and eat those fruits yourself, okay? That is very, very simple maintenance that we can all be doing. But identify where that animal is. That's the second step. If it's not moving on and you keep hearing that it's there, identify where it is. A very simple way to let an elephant or animal know that you know it's there and it should move on is flashing a torch. Okay, very, very simple. Just a torch towards them in their direction. It's saying, hey, I know you're there. And they can smell that you're there. They know people are active in that house. They know they're coming into a human area. More likely than not. Oh, there we go. See, it's kind of unpleasant experience to have a torch in your face, okay? That's a very, very simple thing that you can do to say, hey, move on, move on. The second step, if they're not moving on much, you've shined a torch in their face, okay, is to make some noise, okay? Clapping hands, banging a drum, just a simple noise. Keep it going, keep it going. That pretty much is what's going to move them on. You've taken torch, noise, the combination. If you keep it going, they will generally move off. If there is a slim chance that they have not moved off, okay, you cannot get rid of this animal. You can actually, in fact, call the Department of Wildlife, but that is the very last case scenario, okay? That if you just do these simple things, I promise I would say 80% of the time, even 90% of the time, those animals are going to move off, okay?
One thing I have to also add on to that, you guys have to also, when I say this, is give them a clear exit. It's also, when I say exit, it's about your personal, you have to also be somewhat patient. Quite often you have to, when you say assessing the situation, quite often you live like on the outskirts, the elephants or the animals are actually just trying to pass by. Give it slightly time. You shine the torch in their face, give them a moment to decide, right? Because it takes them a minute to say, oh, what was that? Give them the opportunity to leave. If you keep, you're probably going to make them more angry rather than just getting them to leave. You want to try minimal amounts first. Give them the opportunity for that exit, and then if it doesn't work, beef it up. Beef it up. Never put yourself in a situation where you're actually making it angry, because it can turn on.
You can do all of this from the safety. We're not saying go out of your home and do this. We're obviously saying do this from the safety of your own home.
You see it leaving, stop. Let it go.
Yeah.
Don't continue. Because then you're still aggravating. You don't want to aggravate. You just want to push.
Okay, and again, repeating, don't throw anything at them. Again, that's going to aggravate, that's going to make them more aggressive. Okay, so refrain from throwing things at animals. Okay? This is just some general know-how around your home for animals, just generally speaking, okay? Seems very obvious if you're not home, obviously for your own security as well, but close all your windows and doors. Sounds clear and obvious, but it's going to be your best defense at keeping baboons out, okay? If there is something that comes into your home, gets into your home, whether it's a snake, a bird, always give it an exit route. Allow it some space, open a window, open the door to give it space to get out. Don't try and catch it yourself. That's going to make it more freaked out, okay? It, again, doesn't want to be near you as much as you don't want to be near it. So it seems obvious, but open up a space for them to allow them to exit, okay? Keep your home tidy, keep your trash tidy. Disposing of your trash securely is the most simple but effective way to keep wildlife around, okay? Especially baboons. Don't leave your trash out all day while you're at work, okay? They're gonna come, they'll come. If there's yummy things in that trash especially, they'll come. If it's trash collection day or collection time, don't put it out and leave it there all day again. You put it out just before they're gonna come and collect. Okay, I know collections can be very variable here, but it's worth calling council and finding out when are you going to be coming and picking up the trash. If you know you have baboons coming in and repetitively coming and doing it, there's certain actions we can take to reduce the chances of them coming and raiding our trash, okay? Don't let, it sounds very obvious, don't let, if you have a dog, don't leave your pet food outside, okay? Very simple, that nighttime, feed the animal and then bring it back. Don't leave it there to spend the whole day there, because other things, if your pet isn't feeling hungry, other things will come and eat it, because there's plenty of hungry little critters out there that will eat it, okay? Again, if wildlife enters your property at night time, shine the torch. So we've obviously gone through that. It's the best way to let animal know I see you, give it a chance to flee. Again, the same thing with fruit trees. It's very, very common, but they are very seasonal. So it's not something you have to do all year round in collecting this fruit and maintaining your yard. It's just something you have to do for a few months. I know that is the main reason why a lot of elephants are coming into plateau right now. It's peak elephant fruiting activity time, okay? But it's not going to last the whole year. It's literally just a month and a half, okay? To clear up all of that fruit, especially with all the marulas fruiting right now. This sounds very obvious, but don't let your children, or keep your children and pets away from wildlife, okay? Be aware of where your children are at dawn and dusk, and your pets at dawn and dusk. That's wildlife's most active time. Wake up in the morning. Don't let your kid just run out at sunrise, okay? know what's actually going to be walking around those streets there. They might be going out with their friends, that's all well and good, but lots of little people are still targets for wildlife, okay? Wait for the sun to come up. Make sure there's a mature adult that's going out and supervising them, okay? Same thing with your pets. Don't send your pets out to go and chase wildlife at dusk and dawn. That is the peak wildlife time to come through. Keep them inside, okay? As soon as the sun's up, fine. But those are the times we can easily avoid, okay? And again, reiterating those key spots, please don't walk around those key wildlife areas especially, but actually, as Kelly's saying, stick to the main streets, but just don't be out walking the streets at nighttime in this place, okay? Unless it's a very well lit street and it's very early in the evening, but even then you can come across an animal. Take taxis, okay? There's enough of them in this town. We have so many taxis. Taxi population here is, I think, increased 100% in the last 2 years. So please take taxis. And it's a very simple thing that if you are caught, it is a scenario where you're out at night, have a torch on you, okay? It's a very simple thing. You can buy a very effective torch at the China shop, okay? It doesn't need to be, your phone is not so great, but just a simple torch is one of the easiest tools to have just living in a town like this, okay? Again, being aware, being vigilant, using all these different tactics and tools will help you live with these animals, okay?
Mm.
So this is just the final, sorry, we have gone on, but this is...
Thank you, Tempe. Sorry for that. Okay, guys, sorry, we did have to skip over a few things. We did kind of rush through a few things, but I want to leave this as the last note, because what we did is we tried to pick out facts about the animal species that you can encounter. I've been here for 18 years, living in Kasane, and I can think of every incident that I can actually literally think of on my mind where there's been an accident relating to people and wildlife within the town. Generally could have been avoided if we had followed some of these simple rules. If the people had known some of these habits or behaviors of the particular species, I mean, I can think of almost any incident. I can think of buffalo incidences, elephant incidences, and I can tell you what rule was broken, what they had. So I don't want people to just always be terrified of animals. The animals are here. They're part of our world, big part of Botswana. We are a very good conservation-minded country, but the actions of every individual does make up the country. And I want you to always think about this, okay? I mean, you live in a tourist place, people come here to see the wildlife. So it's important that you do understand it, have empathy, put yourself in their minds so you can do the best behaviors. We started the presentation on that note. So that's what we have for today. I don't know if we have time for questions, and I don't know if we have time to even go over baboons. That's really up to you.
Do you want to do the baboons quickly?
Yes, yes, baboon.
Okay, I'll do it quickly. So I'll just kind of go back a little bit here. Sorry for taking over baboons for a minute. Now, the simple things about the baboons here. Again, there's a lot of facts here, but these are important facts for you to understand about the baboons. Because you know what, we share 99% of the same DNA. They're very much like people. Okay, so now we have a community of people with a community of baboons on top of each other. Right? They're, I don't have glasses. Sorry. I don't want to read everything here that you can see. Okay, but they are families. They're social, versatile, highly intelligent. Again, they're emotional, very much like elephants as well as people. They mourn their dead, they fight, squabble, love, and love each other. They take care of each other. I believe most of you know the difference between a male and female. Yes? Males are twice the size. Remember, they live in, they're not just one little family, they're actually several families. They're a community that moves around. So a troop is a lot of families that are together. But within those communities, there are dominant males and females. There's hierarchy. Okay? So it's not just that each family has a male and everything else. There's actually an alpha male and subordinate males. There's elf females, subordinate females, okay? This is kind of important when you watch them. The females will form very strong bonds and friendships within the troop. So just like you do women in a community, they have best friends. They go to church together. They do their activities together. They raise their children together. Okay? And actually, male baboons are also very caring fathers, which a lot of people don't understand that. But male baboons, especially the alpha males, they spend a lot of their time guarding their babies. So if you really watch a baboon troop, you'll see that the babies spend just as much time with the males as they do the females. Okay? And often, sometimes you will see males will leave the natal troop to start his own. He might get kicked out after fighting with the alpha male. But the females will stay with their troop very much like elephants their entire lives. So that's how they're bonded for their entire lives. We do know they're omnivores. They feed on everything from fruits, seed pods, birds, spiders, scorpions, and they will kill small animals. They will kill birds, they will kill squirrels, small antelope, because they will eat meat. It's not their main source of food, but they do eat meat. They are active, they're diurnal, they're active during the day, but they spend most of their time on the day wandering around, but they will go to the trees to sleep, eat, play, and look out. Okay. And I'm sure you've all seen this when you're watching the baboons in town, that there's an element of their safety. So they have a watchman, a guardman, and it's not the same one every time. You will see, I'm sure you've been around here, that one or two will go to higher ground or find a post to sit on, and they've been assigned duty today to watch over the troop to make sure they're safe. When they're unsafe, when they see something that could be unsafe, they bark to let the others know. They take turns being that guard. They've been assigned that duty for the day. So you see that all the time. You see one that goes to the roof, he's the guard for the ones that are raiding from above. When they do this bark, you'll see too that it's the males will all come running out, and the females will run behind. The females will go behind with their babies, get away from the danger while the males come out to fight. And we all know that they have lethal weapons in their canines. You can see in that top picture of the baboon. So you don't want to mess with them in a way that you could put yourself in harm's way. Very, very few cases of baboons biting people. And I don't even know of any cases of a baboon actually killing somebody. Maybe, I don't know, but I've never heard of cases here. Very rarely do people even get bit. They don't really want to mess with you. But I tell you, a male baboon is a lot stronger probably than any of the males here. No offense to anybody. So this strategy is, again, to always give them some kind of exit out. Okay? This is the slide you wanted to get to. Okay. They're not naturally aggressive towards humans, but people perceive them as aggressive because it's an increased aggression and boldness, because they have a decreased fear of humans combined with an increased opportunity for free food. So here at the lodge, they see an opportunity that has not been resolved. They will see it as an opportunity. There's food on the tables, things aren't cleaned up on time. They see that opportunity. The same thing with monkeys. You know, their social structure is a little bit different, but they see it. You might see it as aggression, but in the way a baboon works, in that hierarchy, they don't share their food per se. They will take their food from a subordinate. You see this in the garbage dump all the time. A subordinate finds something really good, and a big male will just come and take it. Now, if you give a baboon a piece of food, or you allow a baboon to take a piece of food, you have just become his subordinate in his mind. Now he is over you in his mind. Okay? That's something to think about. We always say don't feed baboons. Of course, nobody wants to feed baboons, but you have tourists here. Tourists are the worst culprits in feeding animals. It's not good to feed the monkeys, feed the baboons. They see it as an opportunity, and unfortunately, you probably have seen tourists on the veranda giving their bread or rolls to monkeys and baboons. That has to stop because they just became their subordinate. And our baboon will always be opportunistic and will continue to do that activity. It won. Okay? There's rules, Champion talked about keeping your dog's food inside, secure locked garbage bins, things like that. In the bush, secure your food in vehicles or locked trunk. The only way to modify raiding behavior is to stop giving them a reason to raid. Once they've learned it,